Hey, what's up, you guys? Manny Dimes here, back with another Pokemon Go video. And guys, I wanted to bring back Fridays with Mateo once again because I had a lot of fun with the last one. It's just an incredibly easy video to make, but not only that, I think it's a really interactive way. I wanted to show some things going on in the background of my game, not necessarily just like Pokemon Go like ideas, but actual like play style. So I'm going to show again my screen recording in the background over here. I recorded this last Friday, so it still works, it still counts, even though I am posting and filming the remaining part of this on Monday. Don't pay any attention to that. This was recorded on Friday, so it still counts as just Fridays with Mateo. Welcome back, you guys. And first things first, I wanted to see how you guys did on Community Day with Eevee, or Community Weekend with Eevee. I had myself a little decent amount of fun. I only really participated on Saturday. Sunday I was just chilling. And again, everyone is going to handle this go bonus differently, or the reduction in Pokestop and gym distance, but I have decided to start allotting less of my time towards Pokemon Go and putting more time into other things until I see positive change from the game. Now, that might negatively impact the videos that I make, and I apologize to you guys, but I'm still going to attempt to put some content out. It's just if you're playing less, it's less potential for videos and that sort of thing. Not going to stop playing the game and not going to stop making videos, guys, but I just kind of wanted to give you a heads up there. But with that said, how did you guys do with the Eevee Community Days? How did you do, or how are you feeling with these reduced Pokestop gyms and Pokestops and gyms in the game? How have you been handling it? How has it changed your game? Has it changed your game? I am excited to see how you guys have been feeling with this, how you guys have been doing with this, and are you guys boycotting, so to so? Like, I understand everyone's trying to get behind this boycott, and I was for a couple days too, but the more I've been reading into this and the more I've been researching it, I don't think us necessarily holding our dollars and trying to tell Niantic with our wallets is really going to be the most beneficial way to do this. Only because if we think about it here, and we think about just in terms of our overall reach as a community, I mean, the Pokemon Go community in general, like overall, is several million people, hundreds of millions, I'm pretty confident. There is a huge population of people that have access to this game. Now, I'm not saying those are people that play daily or people that are, that still play the game at all, but there are hundreds of millions of people that have downloaded this game, and so that's why it's such a far-reaching game, that's why it's so popular. But with that said, if we're talking about the active users on Reddit, or the active people on YouTube, or the active people on Twitter, the people that actually go on social media and play this game, it's unfortunately a very small amount of people, or at least a small fraction of the overall population of the Pokemon Go community. Someone on Facebook pointed out earlier today, actually, that they themselves are all on top of this. They've been boycotting this whole time. They haven't been, playing as hard. They've really been on board with sending Niantic this message, but their mom plays the game too, right? And their mom's been putting like $40 a week into these raids because she wanted shiny hair across. So like, what are you gonna do? It's just certain people play the game how they want to, and that's fine. You can't be mad at those people because they still enjoy playing how they do. And I personally, if this wasn't that big of a deal to me, I would probably still be putting money into those same kind of raids. But that's not how I want to play, and I want to keep this game as great as it always has been for as long as possible, and I want this game to be great moving forward. So that's why I think this is such a great message to get behind. But I think the way we are attempting to vote right now, or attempting to sway Niantic, is a bit challenging, as far as at least getting our message across. Now, the one thing I did want to point out to you guys, actually before I dive into all of this, is I finally did get my first shiny Hundo Pokemon. I don't normally put plugs in a video like this, and I'm going to get right back to the content, but you guys should just check it out real quick. It's beautiful. It's awesome. I had a lot of fun catching it, and it's, again, just my first after a year and a half of raiding hard at like 776 raids. So yeah, there it is, the quick plug. Moving on. I don't know, you guys, if you want to keep paying in the game to get all of the content, it's fine. And if you don't want to keep paying in the game, that's also fine to send a message. That may or may not work, but I think the point being, if you have a massive company like Niantic that's making billions of dollars in revenue a year, I don't think like the $20 or $50 purchases that we make individually, even if you stack up a large part of the community to say, hey, we're not paying anymore. Say you get to like $100,000. If you look at that in proportion to the billions that they're still getting from all these major corporations, these companies, all of their business, deals there, the way that they structure their company is so much so that we don't, as players, we don't really make that much of the revenue up just by our in-game purchases or our in-game sales or just our play in general. I don't really think Niantic really has much care for how we change our game or don't change our game. I think more of what has to go, more of what's going on here is actually their AR technology being pushed forward and trying to get us to interact more with in-world things, or in-world places, in-world businesses that allows them to advertise, push for other businesses to get themselves in and advertise there. And I think in general, just finding ways to track our data or use the data that we're putting into the game to help build a software that's better for them. Essentially, this is just a big marketing company that's using Pokemon Go as a tool. I mean, like it is generally a tool. They have other games that use the same software, essentially the same platform, just geared towards a different community or geared towards a different demographic. And so Pokemon Go, again, it has a huge player base and a lot of people that care very much about how the game progresses forward. But they're also thinking about their bottom line in terms of how they deal with major corporations and companies that are looking at them for investments, for advertising, for business ideas and modeling. I think all of that goes into play when how they're gearing this response to the Pokestop and Gym distance reduction. Now, if you think about it, that does paint a very clear picture on what they're attempting to do here. By reducing the stops almost half the distance, it requires us as players to physically go to the places that are the points of interest, right? To get that item, to get that raid, whatever you have to go right to this spot. So, before you could just get close to that area or like around the area, so you don't actually physically have to go to a Starbucks to spin the Starbucks stop. You can just, be nearby and spin it, but now you have to physically be there. And it's one of those things where once you get people in the area and they're looking at the advertisement already, I mean, that's just the way they get you, and that's how they're looking at this moving forward. If they can get businesses to see that information, see that advertising right into the game and get customers to come in just based off of the game that they're playing, that's a huge, very lucrative, massive money deal, essentially, that the game is made for itself and that they have essentially been missing by increasing the Pokestop distance. So, I don't know, there's a couple different ways to look at it. But for me, that paints a pretty clear picture on why exactly they're forcing this on us, or they're pushing this now, because there's a lot of money behind it that, quite frankly, we don't have a way to touch as a community. We don't really have a way to, even if we all band together and we stop paying for months on end, their advertisers and their bottom line of people that actually supplement this game and invest in this is not going to change enough to sway their opinion or sway their idea on how they want to progress this. With that said, I was reading a post on this the other day. Instead of trying to appeal to Niantic's better sense and actually give them well thought out reasons on why this COVID bonus is better, instead, what we need to start looking at is if Niantic's reputation ends up taking a tank because of how they've handled this, if their reputation as a company that can support their community, support their fan base, completely falls apart and companies start to see that Niantic is maybe not a great company to be partnered with. Maybe they don't have the greatest technology out here, given the cost that it comes with as far as a PR aspect. If you've got people that have a very poor image of your company, a very negative image of how you're portrayed and how your games end up developing, that will potentially end up swaying investors and companies that want to come into this game and put money into it. And so I just think that's something to think about, maybe. And I don't know how exactly we adjust this without just going on social media. And I mean, we still make our points clear and we still come across the same way we have been before. We're not being aggressive, we're not being threatening, but we're making clear-cut statements on why we want change here. And for me, I think probably the better way to do it is to just stay after it, stay consistent, but also make sure companies know, or not companies know, but players know in general, that the bottom line for Niantic is not us spending money, it's not how we play, it's not how we interact with the game, but how other companies and how other people look at Niantic. And so if their image is damaged or hurt because of this change, that's going to affect their bottom line with investors. And I think that's the more important part, rather than us just putting in our 2 cents worth and trying to get change. Now, some of you might be seeing all of this and being like, dude, if you just want to spend money, do it. You don't have to put all of it behind this elaborate scheme, all the big businesses, that are killing the game or that can influence the game. If that's how you want to see it, fine. Everyone can play the game how they want to, and I'm still not going to pay the game until I see positive change in here. But the point I'm trying to make here today, guys, is don't put so much weight into this boycott or into like trying to send a message in game through our money, like through how we spend our time, our finances, our just our enjoyment, I suppose. You know, we can't take that away from our everyday thing. We just have to keep moving forward and hope that by continuing to push this message and by continuing to be adamant with Niantic and adamant with their supporters, their investors, and their in general team, if we are strong in our opinion, we may get the change that we want. But if not, that's okay too. I'm just gonna probably not play the game as much, or again, I might not make as many videos like you guys are seeing here. It might not be as fun for me. It might not be as fun for you. And I think that's kind of how things go in life. You do see things that come to great rises. They make a lot of beautiful things that are fun for the community. It's fun for everyone that plays, and just in general works out. But once things start to change for whatever reason, whether it's for money, for progressing their business in other ways, if they just don't see the same vision that we do, you know, certain things start to lose its glow, its, you know, its great look, its mass appeal. And I'm hoping that's not the thing that happens with our game here. I'm really hoping that Niantic sees this and says, hey, this is something that community really cares about, and maybe we can find a way to implement this so everybody wins, so that everybody has a chance to enjoy this as a player, as a community, but still get the bonuses in that we want, or the advertising in here that we want, to help us make our bottom line too. It doesn't seem that hard of a thing to do, because I think a lot of this, or for many players, this is sort of a cutoff point, right? And maybe it's not that drastic for some of you, I don't know, but I think a lot of people are behind me in this point, saying that if they cut this off, or if they don't address this properly on September 1st, a lot of people are going to react very negatively, and will stop playing the game entirely. We'll stop putting money into this game, and we're going to start to see that regression in the game, where we're not building anymore. People are starting to lose interest, and I'm really hoping that's not the case. I'd really like to see this game go for a couple more years, for many more years. It does have the potential to keep going for quite some time, but the point being is they have to be able to react to their community properly and address the concerns, that are happening right now, because if they don't, I really do fear they're going to lose a lot of people just by pushing forward their own thoughts and not listening back to a community that really cares about what's happening. Boy, that's been a lot of rambling. So anyways, guys, I think I'm going to cut it off there. I think that's a lot of the main points that I wanted to make here today. A lot of the community I know is also voiced. Actually, I have one more point. I've been following on Reddit here recently on the Silph Road. I don't know if you guys go on Reddit that often or not, but I've seen so many different posts about bugs all over the place. Bugs that people saw on Community Day, bugs in Battle League, bugs in raids, just all over the place. The game has been challenging to play for a lot of people, and things that happen in the game, like a bug where it causes the Pokemon to spin around, or you're not able to log in, really takes away from how you look at that game and how comfortable you feel about the company making that game. I'm just going to leave that point as it is, because I think a lot of you know where I'm getting at there, but it's already so much going on here to disagree with about the game, to maybe be a bit frustrated about, but then to see all this on top of it, like what's going on here? I don't know. I really hope that someone is listening to this video and saying, you know what, this guy might have a point. He might have a point. I don't know. Probably no one is. But, all right, you guys, I had to cut it off there because I started to ramble there a little bit. But I am actually going to cut off the video here too. So I just want to say, first and foremost, thank you to all you guys that made it through this far in the video. I know it was another long one, but I had a lot to get off my chest here today, a lot I wanted to talk about. So I do hope you appreciate that. And I do appreciate all of you watching. And so anyone that likes, comments, subscribes, thank you. I really do appreciate all of you guys. I hope to see you on more. And I hope you guys like the content. We'll see you on another Friday here soon. And yeah, keep playing, guys. Peace.